good morning, actually. Wow. Good morning in Tallahassee and FSU. It's actually very early in the morning at 3 a.m. and I'm here to tell you, give you an update about the severe weather situation happening in our region. We have a plethora of severe weather watches and warnings in effect. These are the warnings that are in effect right now. We have the severe thunderstorm warning for Wakulla, Franklin, Liberty, Western Leon, west of Tallahassee, Gadsden, and our southern Georgia counties, our northern counties, and then a tornado warning with a tornado confirmed on the ground near Cairo in Grady County, moving towards the northeast. Here's the latest radar, and you can see we have a broken line of showers and thunderstorms, mainly thunderstorms, coming up from the southwest and the northeast very fast. The line in general is moving further towards the east as we move on in time, and I wouldn't be surprised if a severe thunderstorm warning gets extended further towards the east pretty soon for Leon County. Again, also the major concern is for the tornado confirmed in Grady County, and you can see this on the radar velocity. Here's Tallahassee right here. The main area of rotation was up here just north of Tallahassee in Grady County. There's now actually a severe thunderstorm warning that has now been issued for Tallahassee. Here's the rotational velocities around the around the Cairo area, and you can see we have a couplet, but it's pretty broad, so maybe the circulation over in Grady County is weakening. Here's the system as a whole. The vigorous low pressure center, you can see that bombing over Mississippi, moving up into Tennessee, and the strong to severe weather is moving towards the east as we speak into the Tallahassee area. That is why the National Weather Service in Tallahassee has issued a tornado watch for the most of our area, including the Tallahassee region and every county surrounding Tallahassee in every direction. This is in effect until 6 o'clock at the latest, but it may be a trend back as these storms move through. Another major concern with this storm is lightning, especially over the South Georgia counties. Excuse me. There's been many lightning strikes and wind gusts reported in our local area. One is right there in Bainbridge. We had a wind gust to 54 miles per hour, as well as 25 wind reports around the region. Why are we seeing severe weather? Dew points like these, 67 Tallahassee, 60 in Quincy, those are very high dew points for any time of year, but especially in February, and these strong southerly winds pumping in that moisture up to 26 miles an hour sustained in Quincy, and we had a wind gust to about 40 miles an hour on campus. So actually for the severe weather on campus itself, we have a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado possible tag for Tallahassee, including the FSU campus. It does also include Wakulla, Leon, Liberty, Gadsden, Jefferson, and Franklin County for until 4 o'clock a.m., moving east at 50 miles an hour, and wind gusts are about 40 to 50 miles an hour already in advance of that severe thunderstorm warning. If there is a tornado warning issued because there's a possible tag, go to the safe place of your room, away from windows. That might actually be a good idea, even in a severe thunderstorm warning. But now we're going to go send it over to Ulises with a review of our new severe thunderstorm warning.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. As we look at the new severe thunderstorm warning, it is affecting now parts of our viewing area, specifically the FSU campus. It is in effect till 4 a.m. and includes Tallahassee, now going into Wakulla, Gadsden, Jefferson, and Franklin counties. It is happening right now till 4 o'clock. 60-mile-per-hour winds are possible. It's moving to the east at 50 miles per hour. So, we recommend you just stay indoors, go to the inside of the most inside room you have in your house, away from windows, because it is also possible that this severe thunderstorm warning could develop into a tornado warning. Everybody is monitoring, the National Weather Service, everybody is on top of it. We also do have a tornado warning in Grady County, where there was a tornado in Windham, confirmed through the radar, going towards Cairo, and that warning will expire now at 3:15 a.m. The Doppler radar shows that line of rain now just beginning to enter Tallahassee. Quincy's now been affected. Bainbridge earlier, about an hour ago. Thomasville is getting ready to get hit. Monticello, be on the lookout as well. But it's just a line of storms moving all the way from Carabel to Apalachicola. So this line of rain on US 90, I-10, US 98, we do not recommend you to drive whatsoever. Winds could be up to 60 miles per hour. Hail is also possible, damaging winds that can ruin roofs, windows, and even power lines and trees. We take a closer look at that radar right now, still at 3:10 in the morning, and it's just beginning to enter Tallahassee, that squall line. We look at the base velocity. Green is heading towards the radar, red away from the radar, and towards Grady County, that's where there was a sign of a couplet, where the rotation of a tornado indicated earlier. As you can see, towards earlier this morning, within the last 25 minutes, there was a couplet formed around this area. But for the rest of the Big Bend region, we are monitoring that to see if there's any possible tornado rotations possible. But the radar throughout the southeast, it's been a very hectic Tuesday, now going into our Wednesday morning. So tornadoes were all the way up into Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, now Florida, and Georgia. But the threat is not over as we go into our Wednesday morning and even into our afternoon. There's already a moderate risk of severe weather for parts of the Carolinas, Raleigh, Charlotte, also parts in the enhanced region. And that severe weather threat is slight, going all the way down to the Orlando and Tampa Bay area. So even Wednesday will be a very hectic day on the I-95 corridor from Miami all the way up to New York City. New York City even has a marginal chance of severe weather. So this is going to be affecting all throughout the South. This is a southern storm that started all the way in Texas just on Monday, with the low pressure just beginning to form. And it's just been impressive how these storms has been developing the last 24 hours. But we do recommend you to take caution out there. We do have a tornado watch in effect till 6 a.m. that affects Perry, cities like Monticello, Valdosta, Thomasville, and counties as far south as Dixie and Lafayette counties, and as far west as Liberty. So all these storms are just going to be under the gun right now for the next couple of hours before sunrise. Lightning strikes is just a big show of lightning. Just remember, it only takes one just to do damage on a person. We do not recommend you to go outside or be anywhere near water, because the water and electricity do not mix. So we really do recommend you to not be around any water, and also just don't be around too many electronics as well. We do not recommend that as well in case the power goes out. Storm reports, we do have a lot of wind damages, especially towards the western portion of, especially west of the time zone of the Apalachicola River. They are going to be, the National Weather Service will be confirming and looking over the damages of those tornadoes that occurred in Panama City and in Pensacola throughout our day Wednesday. And eventually we'll also look at the one over in Grady County as well. But these numbers are eventually going to be increasing as we go deeper into the morning before sunrise. We look at those dew points. Those dew point numbers are very high right now, 68 degrees. It's really sticky. That ick factor is really high thanks to that southerly flow, just bringing that atmosphere to instability to bring these strong to severe thunderstorms and tornadic outbreaks we've been seeing all throughout this afternoon and evening. Those numbers continue to be into the 60s, but the good news is once the front pushes through later on today, those numbers will fall. The winds still out of the south, bringing more of that warmth, that instability, that juice, just to fire up all this weather. 24 miles per hour to the southwest of Mariana, Bainbridge at 15. We did have a gust up to 54 in Bainbridge within the last hour. Now it's 37 in Mariana, 27 in Wilma. So we have already seen tropical storm force gust when it comes to some of these winds. And with these tornadoes, we've even seen up to Category 1 if you just want to compare between tropical weather and just severe weather, how strong this weather has been. But even going into our Wednesday, the winds are not going to die down whatsoever. Even after the front passes through, the winds are still going to be howling up to 25 to 35 miles per hour. And just remember, when it comes to the city of Tallahassee, when it comes to the winds, if the power lines do go down, unfortunately, they cannot work when it comes to winds of 25 to 30 miles per hour due to safety reasons. So hopefully we don't not get any power outages, but if it happens, you may have to hold on till Thursday, hopefully, but just have that emergency kit with you with some batteries, some canned goods, a gallon of water, just to get you through the next day. And also have that NOAA weather radio handy with you throughout the night for any alerts and warnings. But now we're going to begin to send it over to Casey as he takes a closer look at the severe weather.
Again, tornado safe place, just real quick, we get a tornado warning history. This is where you want to go. That is very important. Even the outside is possible. Currently not in effect right now. First down with the moment, so that's good news, but that could change at a moment's notice. So we'll make sure to give you that as it does come in. Now, currently, these are the warnings that are around. This tornado warning here for Grady has been expired now. Looks like from the National Weather Service, our system will update that here momentarily. But there goes. You see that this come off is now. But severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Tallahassee, Leon County, FSU campus under this here for the next little bit. I'm gonna step up to get you more geographic look, I should say, of this situation this morning. Kind of explain exactly what is going on with this. Just getting some of the latest information in this morning on this severe thunderstorm warning. We're talking about this warning that is in effect here. Before this morning, the storms of about 10 minutes ago were from a line near Havana to 9 miles northwest of Carabel, moving east at 50 miles an hour. So Carabel, Monticello, Woodville, Crawfordville, Tallahassee, St. Mark, Savannah, Midway, Duke Campbell Stadium, Florida State University, Tallahassee Community College, Florida A&M, McCullough, Chopchoppy, Casablanca, Bethel, Montebilla, Joaquina State Capitol Complex, and Lloyd, all under this. So a quiet, high population area under this thunderstorm warning till 4 a.m., 60-mile-an-hour winds, again, the main threat. So you definitely don't want to be outside right now at this early hour. Get as many walls really between you and the outside as possible. So maybe if you're woken up by this alert, you don't really want to be up by windows because you could have maybe a tree or a tree limb fall into where you're at. So just keep that in mind. And this could be upgraded to a tornado warning, as we have noted some weak rotation within some of the computer algorithms. So we'll be giving you the latest on that as it does come in from the National Weather Service. I stopped the imagery right now. This is where we're watching some of the rotation. If this does develop here, in Tallahassee, you'll be online for that. Base velocity, not currently showing up having few computer issues, but we'll go right by that and look at storm relative mode. Not quite getting that either, so I'm going to step up to kind of add a couple more things in here. So give you the latest information to protect everyone. Now I'll go ahead and see if we can switch some things off real quick. Probably won't be able to get it up, but again, we're just take my word for it. We're watching that rotation out just to the southwest of Tallahassee this morning. And we'll make sure to give you the latest information on that as it does come in from the National Weather Service. Now, again, you see the weather picture. These storms really extending along a line here and moving toward Tallahassee over the next little bit. Again, Tallahassee about another 40 so minutes under this severe thunderstorm warning for this severe situation tornado watch till 6 a.m. this morning. Conditions are favorable for tornadic conditions in and close to the watch area. So you need to be aware of that. Lightning, that's one of these threats with this system as well. You see lightning starting to come inbound toward Tallahassee now, so you don't really want to be outside if you are in this situation this morning. Again, just one of the threats, of course, we have wind as well. In a severe storm, lightning technically not a severe criteria, but something you needed to take seriously as it can be very dangerous as you have cloud-to-ground strikes, can impact people, of course, as we have seen with casualty rates in the state of Florida. Now, storm reports, you do see 27 overall, 3 tornado reports. One of these up for Dothan, might be wind reports as well here in the blue color. Some of these could be upgraded to tornado reports as surveys are done to see if the winds were more straight line or if there was actual damage that where you could see stuff had gone in different directions in the survey. Now, dew points, you do see 68 Tallahassee, 68 Quincy, 68 Wilma. These conditions really are ripe for severe weather. Once you get over 60, you really need to be concerned for that threat. And we have some of the other parameters in place as well. So you really need to be on guard here for the next little bit. And that's severe thunderstorm warning for 4 a.m. for Tallahassee. So again, you just need to be inside, away from windows. Just take it seriously. Everything will be okay. Just make sure you get as many walls between you and the outside as possible, and be ready if a tornado warning is issued to get to that interior room away from windows immediately, and that could come relatively quickly. And then sirens would go off on FSU campus, and quite a few things would really go on and be put into action at that point. Winds coming from the southern direction, bringing in the moisture again. You saw those dew points. Winds, even outside of a tornado warning, 41 miles an hour and wind gust was. So pretty high this morning. We see 23, St. Mark's 27, Wilma 37 up toward Jackson County and Mariana. And again, at tornado safe place, that's where you want to be. So just make sure you do that. If you are under a tornado warning, none right now. We'll keep an eye on it. Severe thunderstorm warning right now for Leon and many surrounding counties. But Jake will have more now on this situation.
Thanks a lot, Casey. Not much has changed since you started, but again, current warnings are consistent throughout much of the area. Tallahassee under severe thunderstorm warning right now, as well as areas extending as far as Maribel, up through Thomasville and into the parts of south central Georgia. The Doppler radar is showing just that. These storms are lining up just as we would expect for a damaging wind kind of event, starting to move their way into the Tallahassee region. One of our team leaders, Matt, just came in soaked just now. It was a bit of a funny sight, to be honest. Glad he didn't get in any sort of danger by those winds and lightning out there. But again, these storms are still pushing their way through. They're moving pretty slowly because they have a bit of a northeasterly track. They're training each other a bit, meaning one storm is basically trailing the other. It's going to be a pretty significant rain event, but again, storms are out of the way of Wilma and Blountstown, Mariana now, so tornado watches in those regions have since expired. Here's a still image of the Doppler radar as of 3:20 a.m. just about now, showing just about the same thing. It's going to be trailing off towards the east and northeast directions over the next hour, and eventually be moving out of the Tallahassee metro region in the next hour, probably by about 4:30 a.m. or so. Now, base velocity, again, is still not really showing up, but there's no significant rotational character. Oh, there we go. Just popping up right about now. No significant rotational characteristics to really note. We see this this red and the green regions outside or on either side of the Tallahassee radar, which is pretty with the radar located near Tallahassee International Airport. That is indicative of the fact these wind directions are pretty consistent coming out of the south. No really rotation to speak of. Looking at a little bit of a closer scale in towards Tallahassee itself again, not much to speak of. Winds coming largely out of the east in this mode. This is the storm relative velocity diagram, and we'll keep monitoring this, of course, as things develop, because you never know if a rotational signature could develop that influences or is indicative of the presence of a tornadic supercell. Now, radar across the southeast here, we see this big low. It started in Texas today, began to drift its way over through Louisiana, now centered in the area of Mississippi, Arkansas, and the northeast corners of Louisiana. Pushing this rain into Tallahassee right now. Again, we have the southern and southeasterly flow bringing in along with the jet stream coming out of the northwest, serving for some very strong convergence around Tallahassee, and these storms just continuing to bubble up over the Gulf of Mexico, again bringing in a lot of that Gulf moisture. That tornado watch a little while ago did get extended until 6 a.m. and expanded into some of the eastern counties of our viewing area, Jefferson, Madison, Taylor, even up towards Valdosta, Thomasville. Western regions like Mariana, Blountstown, over towards Panama City, those areas are expired in terms of the tornado watch, but again, the threat of the occasional shower is still there. The severe threat has since diminished, and it will be diminishing into the central and, again, western parts of the area as the hours go on. The lightning strikes, something to note here, it's pretty widespread, very concentrated up where we had a tornado confirmed in Grady County about 30 to 45 minutes ago. That has since moved off to the northeast and slightly weakened in terms of its lightning. But again, widespread lightning moving its way into Tallahassee, centered right around Tallahassee International Airport right now and extending as far south to St. Mark's, Apalachicola, even down towards the coast. So something to note, all it takes is one strike, definitely to cause some pretty serious damage. Storm reports, 27 total reports, 22 of them being wind damage. We expected hail to be a possibility today, but that hasn't really been a significant factor. Wind damage has been the priority, clustered around Panama City, as well up towards Crestview, even into parts of Georgia, up towards Bainbridge, Cairo, a little bit north towards Albany, where there's been a lot of activity in the last couple of hours. Numerous tornado warnings issued for the Albany region. Now, current dew points are still extremely high, 70 degrees in Apalachicola, which is extreme, near 3:30 a.m., 68 here in Tallahassee, 64 being the low spot in Thomasville, so still very muggy and lots of moisture being brought in by that southerly flow, fueling the fire for more storms to be developing along this line, extending as far north as parts of Tennessee and Kentucky. Current winds, Tallahassee being the hotspot, 28 miles per hour, blowing out of the south, Mariana out of the southwest at 24 miles per hour. As again, once the front passes, those winds are still going to be whipping around 25 to 35 miles per hour at times tomorrow, which could make potential power outage repairs a bit of a hassle for the power companies out there, as again, they cannot go to the scene of repair if winds are sustained at about over 30 miles per hour. Current wind gusts, I'm glad this picked it up because at Tallahassee International Airport, they clocked a wind gust of 46 knots, which would translate to about 53 miles per hour. Getting really close to that severe threshold here. Across a bunch of the rest of the region, 20s and 30s, so still very gusty. Mariana clocking in at 37 miles per hour. Now, again, like we've said before, if there is a tornado warning issue, which is still a possibility, where exactly should you go? Well, the answer, of course, is the lowest level of your home. If you don't have a basement, the first floor is obviously the preference here. But again, an interior room devoid of glass, devoid of windows, devoid of any doors with glass on them is really the safest bet here. So again, if these warnings are to be issued, and again, for future reference, this is the way to go about it. And again, before these severe thunderstorms roll in, make sure to have those phones and everything charged up, all your modes of communication, in the event that power is to go out. So we're going to sign off for now. We will have a little bit more with you here at FSU Weather if more is to develop across the region as these storms begin to track their way eastward through Tallahassee into some of the eastern parts of our viewing area.